Hi everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have several projects to share with you, giving a little preview of the new These Are the Days release with the Greetery, which comes out, it releases tomorrow, July 30th. So this is a little bit of a preview of some of these exciting products. Okay, so first you can buy a pack. This is a 2025 calendar, like a half-page calendar pack. You can customize, zhuzh, decorate your own little custom calendar, but the calendar itself is kind of like pre-printed on white cardstock. And then these are the birth month blooms, and there's a set for each quarter. So each stamp set has 3 blooms, and this is like a layering stamp set, and it shows you the bloom for the month, like carnation for January. Gives you some color, you know, inspiration there too, and also some sentiments in different way, also coordinating dies. And then next we have this stamp set here, Calendar Basics, which I'm very excited about. You can build your own calendar or your own calendar card, a large calendar, small calendar, all the months. Different ways to customize your calendar. There's a calendar grid die. There's also a calendar grid stencil set for the large and small calendar. There's a great sentiment set, One Fine Day with the coordinating dies. And then there's a small little die set. I think it's called Spiral Bound. Let's see it here. Yep. Spiral Bound. It gives you 5 different dies. So you can customize your calendar or anything you want to like make it look like it can be bound. You can also purchase that spiral. It's a plastic spiral, like a long roll of it. You can trim it to size, however big you need. Okay, so I'm going to make a custom calendar birthday card. I thought this was so fun. So if you like to make birthday cards, which I love to do, you can customize it for the recipient by making a little calendar and put their specific birthday. It could also be great for like save the date or any type of upcoming occasion, maybe a graduation, something you're excited to send a card with a specific date you want to customize. So I put the small little calendar grid at the bottom. I'm using Altenew Morning Frost ink. I wanted an ink that was very, very, very light and subtle, and this is a very soft gray. You could do any color. If you want to customize your calendar, any color, you could stamp it black. And then that solid stripe is just kind of a little title block. I'll show you later. Now I'm stamping with that same gray ink the days of the week, and it's just like the letter SMT for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then I'm stamping the month, September, with black, and now I'm stamping the date. So I had to look on the calendar, what date does September 27th fall on? It's actually, I think it's a Friday. So you got to think about that. You could also add, you know, all the days, like 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 30 or 31 if you want to fill in the calendar. But I wanted to just put the date of the recipient's birthday. Now I'm stamping a rose, just one bloom above for a little decorative element. And if I don't mention the ink colors, I kind of show them. These are Pawsitively saturated inks. Sometimes I flip back and forth with Concord 9th, but I'm just making just a traditional red rose. And then I'm going to do a little circle, which is in the Calendar Basics stamp set, to circle that 27th. And then the Morning Frost to stamp a little happy birthday, which is also from that monthly bloom stamp set. So there it is. Very simple. I mean, you could add more. You could definitely zhuzh this up more, but I wanted to keep this particular card very simple. Adhered it to a cream card base. Didn't add any embellishments. Here's another one I made, which is more cream, different floral, same idea. Here I use that grid stencil to add kind of rainbow grid to the calendar. Different blooms on each one. So these are the birthday calendar cards using some of the new products coming out tomorrow at the Greetery. Okay, and then I wanted to make one last one. I'm going to use the spiral bound die, although I'm not going to add the spiral to it. Tomorrow I have a video. You're going to have to wait till tomorrow. And I'll show you how I made my own custom calendar. And I did add a spiral, like I bound it. Very exciting. So tune in tomorrow. But this one, I'm going to use the spiral die. I'm going to cut a little border, but I'm not going to add a spiral bound to it. You'll see what I'm doing. Now, I did this out of some soft gray cardstock, and it's a little bit longer than what I wanted for my card because I'm just making like a little panel to go on my card. So I'm going to customize this little doodad and chop off a little on the right, a little bit on the left, just keeping it centered. But I just keep chopping a little bit here, chopping a little bit there until it's the width that I want because I'm just making a little panel to go on my card. So I'm just seeing there and I decided, nope, I still want it smaller. So go back into my little mini guillotine and just chop off one more hole. You know what I mean? So you really can customize these for a lot of different occasions, not just for calendars. Great different uses. Like I love the office themed notebook paper spiral bound vibe on cards. I am putting some thin foam tape on the back of this. You could also just glue it down, but the foam tape gives it just a little bit of air, a little bit of shadow, which looks nice. Now I haven't trimmed down my panel yet. So once I pop this down, because I wasn't exactly sure the measurements, I'll put it back in my guillotine, trim off that excess white, and then I'll end up cutting more off the bottom too because this is just too long. But there you have a cute little panel for a card. I have a cream card base that I wanted to add a little bit of extra something to. So I took, what is this, antique linen distress ink, and I'm just doing a little bit on the corners. And it kind of gives you that, I don't know, worn in vintage vibe. Sometimes I like a real clean cut card, and then other times I want to go vintage. Really just depends on the mood. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sometimes you have different feels. And then one step further, I smushed that antique linen on an acrylic block, took a wet brush and flicked some antique linen flicks onto the cream card. And that just gives it more texture, more something, more zhuzh, I don't know. Okay, sentiment from the One Fine Day. I love this It's a Good Day. And I'm going to emboss this in gold on a little panel of white cardstock. So I use the Simon Says Stamp powder tool, VersaMark ink. I'll probably stamp it a few times just to make sure I get really good coverage. Sometimes I think I need to re-ink my VersaMark ink is actually the problem, but I don't know why. I get in the zone and I'll stamp that VersaMark ink 3, 4, 5 times. Like, I don't know, it's getting out of hand. Pouring on some Simon Says Stamp gold embossing powder. See, this is why I want to have good coverage with the VersaMark ink, because I want a good, solid, rich emboss. You know, nothing worse than when it's sparse and you didn't get good coverage. And sometimes I borderline get a little bit cuckoo on that topic. But okay, use a coordinating die, take it off camera, run it through my die cutting machine. Look at that. Gold embossed. It's a good day. Okay, so I've got my cream card base. I've got my little spiral panel, and I'm getting the lay of the land because I want to stamp a little calendar along the side. This kind of linear, it's just the months. I'm using buttercream ink. It's the Rainbow Splash line by Simon Says Stamp, and I'm just stamping those months along the side of the card, and then I'm stamping all the days. So you got the month and the day, and then you can just add your little circle to kind of customize, you know, whatever card you're making this for. If it's for a birthday and you want to circle January 28th, then you can do that now. Okay, so now I'm going to add the little circles. These little circles are also in the Calendar Basics stamp set. And I just love doing this. I don't know why, but customizing a card is my jam. Okay, so here's the birthday month layering stamp set. You could pick any. If you want to go by the month, you can, but you don't have to, you know. So I'm just going to stamp a few blooms. This one here, I think, is the September bloom. I believe it's the aster, if I got that correct. And so these are layering floral stamp sets, and I'm using a mixture of Pawsitively saturated inks by Simon Says Stamp. I think I did the base out of carnation and the detail here out of peony. And then you can add the stems. And now, like on the back of the packaging, it gives you the images and kind of helps you know where to line things up and gives you a little color inspiration. All the layers are labeled like A1, A2, A3, A4, so you know what goes together. you just get, you know, once you dive in, at first you're like, oh no, I'm never going to know how to line this up. And then once you get going, you realize how easy it is. You just have to like figure it out. You know what I mean? Once you know, you know. A little bit of what they call that a learning curve. And then I'm stamping the little centers with some yellow ink. So there you have the aster. And then I'm going to do this one here, Hawthorn, which is for the month of May. And again, another thing about these two is you don't have to stamp them the color that is on the inspiration sheet. You know what I mean? You could, I'm not really familiar with a Hawthorn, but I think I actually did kind of stick to kind of the peachy colors that was on that inspiration, but you definitely could make it purple or red. You know what I mean? Live your best birth month blooms life is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, and then you just line these up and they layer together. Here I'm switching to Concord 9th. I've got the grapefruit ink. I love the grapefruit and the sorbet. Some of my favorite colors are kind of just like the perfect peachy orange. And it goes good with, what did I use for the leaves? Spring and Dublin, I think. And then a little bit of lemonade yellow for the centers. And then there's also these little polka-y doodads that go around the center of the blooms. I stamped them in brown, but you could also do black. Okay, one more bloom. Might not need them all, but you know when you get in the zone, you just start stamping and you have fun. I think these are the daisies from the month of April. It's been quite a week around here. I feel like I never really talk about my personal life anymore in my videos. I'm so busy talking about the cards and the new products coming out, but my mom's been staying with us this past week. She had a hip replacement surgery, and she's doing amazing. She's 80 years old, and she was up walking right after the surgery. She's weaning herself off the pain meds, doesn't like how they make her feel. She wants to go home tomorrow. I'm not sure if she's ready for that. It's only been a week. I don't think she can drive for months, but she just wants to be in her own house. You know how that is. She likes to be independent. Okay, so I popped up those blooms on that spiral panel. I'm stamping a sub-sentiment. It says, to celebrate you, popping up the It's a Good Day die cut. So it's a good day to celebrate you. And then I'm adding some clear sequins, just kind of tucking those in here and there. So this is another great way to create a custom calendar birthday card with these beautiful birth month blooms. It's a good day to celebrate you. All of these products will be available tomorrow, July 30th at the Greetery. Come back tomorrow and I'm going to share another video how I created my own custom calendar and I bound it with the spiral binding dies. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day and I will see you next time.